Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome back to my RPG News Roundup, this time for February 10th, 2024, where each week I take a look back at the week in tabletop, computer, and console role-playing game news and bring you the highlights. As always, I will start with computer and console role-playing game news. It looks like developer Acquire, behind such titles as The Labyrinth of Zengetsu, and who have worked with Square Enix on Octopath Traveler series, have been acquired by the Kadokawa Corporation, which also owns such studios as Spike Chunsoft and From Software, so it'll be interesting to see where that goes. Adventure Bar Story has a Japanese release date for the PS4 and the PS5. It looks like it'll be coming out on February 14th, and it's been on the Switch since December. Although no date has been set for a Western release, there are plans for it, so that has been pretty much confirmed. Adventure Bar Story has you in charge of a tavern which is being targeted by a rich restaurant owner seeking to take it over. So you must go out, battle monsters for ingredients, and come up with better food and recipes. So it's like a dungeon crawler / tavern sim. Tactical RPG Tenderfoot Tactics has set to release on Xbox One, Xbox Series X/S, and the Switch on February 21st. It has been out on the PC for a while now and is set in a world where a fog is taking over the dense forest, so you lead a party of goblins to face it. The Witch of Fern Island is getting its full release on February 27th. It has been in early access since last year. It is an open-world life sim style RPG where you play a young witch attending an academy on Fern Island. Pekkaminosa, A Deadly Hand, is getting a definitive edition, targeting the PC and the Switch, as well as the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X/S. It'll drop on February 28th. Pekkaminosa is a noir action RPG from a few years back where you play a disgraced detective tasked by the ghost of a mob boss to capture his former associates. Between the Stars is getting a full release on March 7th. It is a space sim RPG that has been in early access for a few years now. It has you captaining an interstellar cruiser, meaning a journey across the galaxy, making decisions, upgrading your ship, and fighting various enemies. Empire, Earls of the Deep Earth, looks to release on March 12th, a neo-Victorian RPG taking place in an alternative 1899 China. It'll have a top-down view and have you playing someone with memory loss looking to track down the person responsible. Lost Helden has been announced from Artisan Studios, an action RPG with hand-painted art style that's set to release in 2025, and will target the PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X/S, as well as the Switch. It is set on a fantasy world where people are bound to one of the seven sins and features several playable characters. Swordhaven, Iron Conspiracy was announced. It looks like it'll be a classic party-based RPG inspired by old Infinity Engine titles where you play a lonely adventurer who is entrusted by a peculiar artifact by a dying man. It'll have an option of turn-based or real-time with paused combat, a non-linear world, all in a fantasy realm. Then there's Aletheia, Return of Odysseus, another party-based tactical RPG. It'll be a retelling of Homer's Odyssey, where you control Odysseus and his men on their way back from the Trojan War. It'll have turn-based combat, character creation, and so forth. As far as actual releases and updates go, Jagged Alliance 3 saw its version 1.5 update. This will allow a player to place rules to alter the parameters of the story campaign, including such things as enemy numbers, leveling up rates, starting salaries, etc. It also comes with modding tools to allow for the creation of additional campaigns and quests. Apparently, Outriders Complete Edition was released. It includes the base game Outriders, the World Slayer expansion pack, Hell's Rangers content pack, and additional emotes. Fate Samurai Remnants DLC Volume 1, a Records Fragment, Cayenne Command Championship saw its release. The DLC offers a mysterious arena with matchups, new character dialogues and endings, and a new servant. Vampire the Masquerade Justice saw its release, a VR-based RPG adventure. It has you playing a vampire using stealth, persuasion, and various abilities to seek to punish the guilty in nighttime Venice, all from a first-person view within the World of Darkness universe. West of Loathing got a physical release for the Nintendo Switch, available from Serenity Forge and Video Games Plus in Canada. It looks like there'll be also a physical edition of Shadows Over Loathing coming out for Switch, PS4, and PS5 on March 5th. Pixel Noir looks to be a mystery-influenced classic RPG where you wander through the seedy streets to collect clues, upgrade skills and weapons, brawl in turn-based combat, all to unravel a conspiracy gripping the city. Dungeon of Stone is a simple action RPG dungeon crawler with pixel graphics wherein you wake up with no memories within a dungeon and you must get out. Tales of Spark is a hack-and-slash action RPG with an Eastern theme where you play a wandering swordsman exploring and seeking treasures, facing off against bosses, and so forth. Abyss Mares is an action roguelite first-person shooter where you play a super warrior exploring a maze, upgrading your equipment and weapons, and dealing with the various mythos-based creatures. Heroes of the Seasons is a sort of simple turn-based boss rush style RPG where you collect 3 mercenaries to defend Christmas from various foes who would undo it. Finally, there's Gothic Virtual Tabletop, which looks to be a simple virtual tabletop application meant to support tabletop RPGs and wargames. And now, onto tabletop role-playing game news. We'll start with one that's not RPG directly, but it's RPG adjacent to the Dragonlance TV show that Joe Manganiello, I have no idea how to pronounce his name, has been slated to run. He'd been slated to run has apparently been canceled. The blame seems to lay with poor sales of the Dragonlance-related material last year, which has resulted in WotC not wanting to develop that property further. Gee, I wonder what happened there. Anyway, it looks like Modiphius has a new setting book planned for Star Trek Adventures called The Federation Klingon War Tactical Campaign. It'll take place during the Star Trek Discovery era and before the original series era. As for minor and PDF releases, Draconum Impact has some offerings available in print for the Yarthi settings. It is a retro-futurist steampunk setting for 5th edition and Pathfinder 1st and 2nd edition. There's the campaign setting book itself, Dragons of Yarthi, that details the true dragons of the setting, as well as character creation mechanics for playing them, and then Yarthi subclasses that offers the various subclasses from the setting in a standalone book. Amazing Encounters and Quests from CZ RPG is also available in print and is a 5th edition supplement that offers 36 detailed encounters and 3 main themes, each with battle maps. There's also a variety of new creatures and a few new magic items. Grim Press has a few entries into their Cavern Crawl series of 5th edition adventures. Number 35, Treacherous Tides, is designed for 2nd level characters and deals with a vessel returned from a long expedition, upon which a lord's heirloom supposedly lies and he wants it back. Then number 36, Boarding Party, is suited for 11th level characters and deals with a ship being boarded by pirates. Planting Gone Wrong is a 5th edition adventure for 7th level characters. It deals with a druidic grove that has experiments gone wrong within it. It includes new monsters, maps, a mix of role-playing exploration, and combat. Val and Tyne's Disaster is a low-level 5th edition one-shot adventure in which a shy wizard's outgoing homunculus tries to use magic to help encourage the local townsfolk to celebrate her birthday. And now the entire town is basically trying to get the wizard's attention because that way overshot it. Adventure Ripples has Echoes Across Realms. It is a 5th edition offering for level 5 characters that deals with a cosmic convergence, creating a sort of dimensional echo. Dino Safari, The Lost Isle, is a 5th edition supplement featuring dinosaur-themed encounters for parties of all levels, as well as stat blocks, new items, new grafts, new spells, battle maps, feats, etc. The Vault of Yggdrahotep is a 5th edition Swords and Sorcery adventure module inspired by pulp-era tales. It deals with a lost gold mine with vaults of pre-human horrors beneath it. Tomb of the Bloodstone White, Part 1, is a 5th edition adventure involving a wilderness survival trek assisting a stranger offering gold in return for assistance to her ancestral home. It is to be the first in a trilogy of adventures. Fort Grave is a 5th edition dungeon adventure for level 4 characters. It deals with a military bastion worn by the passage of time and the eruption of a volcano. Mimic Nomicon Grocery Store is a 5th edition supplement designed around the idea of mimics infesting a grocery store. It includes various locations mimics might be lurking. The Copper Compendium has 2 offerings, each of which details various magic objects of an appropriate theme. Fortunes of Fairy includes 25 new Fae-themed magic items for 5th edition, then Major Mechanicals includes 10 new clockwork constructs for use in 5th edition games. The Windjammer module, Wrecked on a Lee Shore, is a 5th edition drop-in module for maritime play. It appears to be an add-on for prior Windjammer modules and simply covers the course of events leading up to a vessel's wreck on a lee shore during a storm. The Panovo Player's Primer is a supplement for 5th edition that offers information on the Panovo setting. It includes a gazetteer covering the various nations, wild realms, and organizations, the Pantheon with its religious cults and heresies, as well as player character options such as backgrounds, races, sub-races, feats, spells, as well as weapons, tools, and so on. Soul Mist Unspoken Tales is a set of 3 adventures for the Soul Mist campaign setting. They are adaptable to any 5th edition campaign setting overall. Cult of the Eight Legs is a one-shot 5th edition adventure for level 7 characters, taking place in a land besieged by goblins and cultists. The characters must figure out what's going on. Chainveil Battle of the Bards looks to be a 5th edition adventure revolving around a music festival in an ancient cemetery in a jungle, with the reward being an ancient artifact. Mizo Games has a few offerings. There's The Missing Children of Farheim, a 5th edition adventure where children of a town have started to go missing. Then they also have Valentine's Vault, which has a pack of Valentine-themed artifacts. Kobold Press has The Hidden Tomb of Nagath. For the Tales of the Valiant system, it is also generally compatible with 5th edition. For 4th level characters, it deals with an apocalyptic cult. Free League Publishing has the Lord of the Rings role-playing Lore Master Screen and Rivendell Compendium. Designed for 5th edition versions of the Lord of the Rings role-playing game, it not only includes the Lore Master Screen in landscape format, but the compendium containing information about the last homely house, including a map and a plan of the house itself. The Tiny Tome of Living Spells is a 5th edition supplement that deals with spells that have manifested themselves into living beings. The Quintessential Guide to Monster Encounters is a guide on building, adapting, and running monster encounters. It is designed to help make things more engaging. Why Slay Dragons When You Could Be Fishing is effectively a fishing and crafting system for 5th edition with a modular style rule set. It includes hundreds of fish to catch over a dozen environments, rules for creating your own fish, new folks, sub-races, classes, and new items, etc. The Holy Book of Armaments is a supplement for Twice Dead and Terminus setting for 5th edition. It holds secrets for various Wild West-inspired offerings, including new backgrounds, subclasses, traits, firearm weapons, magic items, and monsters. Monsters of America, Restaurants and Retail is an expansion for the Monsters of America Satirical 5th edition supplement. It includes 3 fleshed-out settings with various store-based locations, some factions, 70-plus magic items, 35-plus new spells, new playable subclasses, feats, race options, and 60-plus new monsters. Teacup Dragon Companion is a 5th edition mini-quest and stat block to obtain a tiny little dragon companion. Worlds to Go, The Elysians, is compatible with Advanced 5th Edition and General 5th Edition to provide a set of cultures inspired by Mythic Greece with rules for sports, a map with key locations, a plot hook generator, and so forth. Ars Mechanica has a few offerings. There's Sir Twill Goney, an old scientist who has turned into a cat, which can be recruited into a group. Then there's Snowbike Module, which provides rules and information for a new type of transport, the Snowbike. Twilight's Gambit, A Tale of Secrets and Schemes, is a 5th edition offering that details an adventure set in the city of First Gate, including various characters, multiple endings, various mysteries, and so on. Gaming Brew has a new subclass for Sorcerer, the Royal Bloodline. It deals with sorcerers who derive their power from a royal ancestry. Priest of the Black Sun is a 5th edition supplement that offers a new cleric subclass, a couple of new monsters, an addiction mechanic, a new god, as well as some adventure hooks. MetaPress Games has a few classes for 5th edition. There's the Warlord class that offers support for various fights, and then the Spectral Guardian, which is a fighter archetype that takes on the powers of various spirit animals. Elven Tower has Dungeon Vault Magazine number 42, which contains material for Shadowdark RPG, as well as some 5th edition material including adventures, a settlement, and so on. Shadowdark Monster Menagerie is a collection of variant stat blocks for common enemies for Shadowdark and includes 21 new stat blocks for various creature types. The Mad Hermit's Almanac Issue 2 is a collection of random charts and articles for any fantasy tabletop RPG. This one includes charts of tavern names, odd pockets, story hooks, etc. Tessa Dantilus's Tantalizing Tower is an adventure for old school essentials and similar OSR systems, offering an adventure for levels 6 to 9 within the Brownhaven campaign setting. It details a tower built through elemental magics. Frog God Games has Heart of St. Bathus for old school essentials. It is available in print and is a sandbox style campaign for level 3 to level 12 characters, so it's a pretty big one. The Tower of the Silvergoth is another adventure for old school essentials suited for level 4 to 7 PCs. It'll revolve around recovering an ancient crown to allow the legitimate heir of the lands of Stackburg to take the throne. It is also available in a deluxe edition as well. Castle Brookmere is a OSR adventure that seeks to convert the book Return to Brookmere into a playable adventure with additional areas. Gateway to Adventure Devilry is an offering for old school essentials and similar systems, which feature the various devils and their kin, from the lonely imp to pit fiends and archdevils. City Encounters for Swords and Wizardry is available in print and offers a collection of NPCs with names, objectives, abilities, etc., with 200 daytime encounters and 200 nighttime encounters to run into the city. Coupe de Mon World Book Partials details the Druid class for OSR style games that reworked to emphasize their inner planes impact on their magic. OSR Publishing has the Dragon Slayer role-playing game from Greg Gillespie available in print. This one I've been looking for a while. I'll probably have to try and get it at some point. It is a new OSR system that combines BX simplicity with first edition ideas and includes various classes, races, spells, monsters, and treasure in a single volume. From my understanding, it moves away from like the standard generic cookie cutter retro clone stuff, but retains the same feel. So it's got new interesting classes, but along the same lines. Black Oath has Curran Nathalis Into the Midnight Throne. It is a single-player and co-op dungeon survival game available in print, wherein you have been condemned to death and cast into the tunnels of the city of below, where you now wander. Which reminds me, I have a ton of Black Oath stuff to review. I'm working on some of them right now. Rollmaster Unified Treasure Law is the magic system for Rollmaster Unified, offering rules for item creation, revised, reformatted, and expanded to integrate the Rollmaster spell law. Philip Reed has Deck of Old School Encounter Set 2 available in print. It offers 72 random encounter cards for OSR and other fancy RPG systems. Between Sun and Shadow Realms of Adventure is an expansion for Between Sun and Shadow 2nd Edition that is a campaign setting for Tiny Dungeon 2nd Edition. It expands the sandbox-style setting with new heritages, traits, carving, alchemical, and clockwork gear, creatures, groups and organizations, NPCs, and so on. Heroes and Hardships, The Darkling Legacy is an adventure for the Heroes and Hardships system, detailing a danger stalking the Umbral Woods where 20 years have passed since the last great hero of Halcyon journeyed into it. Beneath the Mercury Sky is a world sourcebook and RPG. Japanese inspired, it uses a roll-above system that borrows from familiar anime and manga tropes set in a fictional island. Super obviously powerful Realizer is a design for the Stranger Stuff Tiny D6 system, where your parents brought home a computer and a computer that can connect to the internet at that, which is amazing for that time frame, only to abandon it to the kids to figure out what it can do. Cthulhu Eternal, Physiology of Acquired Taste, is an investigative scenario for Cthulhu mythos horror set in 1830 after the 3 days in July in a France divided by factional conflicts. Green Ronin has Cthulhu Awakens, Revelations of the Bacchae, which presents expanded notes for the actual play session run during the Kickstarter campaign. It's not the actual scenario itself, but it's simply the basic notes used to run it. Then there's the Dreadcrawls Issue 0, Strange Places, which is a zine that offers material for the Cthulhu Awakens system. Mongoose has Traveler Companion Update 2024, which is a compilation of variant and alternate rules for the Traveler system. Far Future Enterprises has Mega Traveler Journal Issue 3 and 4, a set of material for the Traveler system, including world guides, adventures, articles, ships, races, etc. Quasar, basic role-playing game, starship construction and identification, is a supplement for Quasar that provides rules for designing and creating starships, as well as stats for hundreds of starships, starports, star space stations, etc. Finally, there's Dead Galaxy, a one-player RPG of survival wherein an interstellar cruiser encounters problems returning home and is now overrun by deadly creatures of every kind, and you're the last one alive on board it. And now, let's take a look at crowdfunding campaigns. Remember that contributing to a crowdfunding campaign should be done only at your own risk. Doing so is no guarantee of even receiving a product mentioned here is not an endorsement, but is for informational purposes only. And of course, with Zine Quest in full swing, expect a fair number of Zine offerings as well. We'll start with Blightmoor, a 5th edition Gothic horror RPG sourcebook set in an early Victorian Gothic realm. It combines clockwork, gunpowder, and mysticism to fight some sort of blight. It includes a new playable race, 12 new classes and subclasses, and will eventually include new backgrounds, feats, and spells in addition to the setting lore itself. Cry of the Dreamweaver will be a level 1 to 3 5th edition adventure. In a land of dreams, a sinister force has plunged the dreamscape from the darkness. The Lord of Night Terrors has kidnapped the Dreamweaver, who summons a party of adventurers to her rescue through their dreams. Life's Blood and the Dreamwalkers will be 2 new 5th edition and one-shot adventures set in the town of Delta Bottom. The Dreamwalkers deals with the inhabitants of the town being put to sleep, from which they cannot awaken from. Then Life's Blood deals with problems with the water being tainted. Crisis at the Crossroads will be a level 4 5th edition adventure meant to be standalone. It features bandits that have cut off supplies to a town and must be dealt with. Malakt looks to be a feudal dark fantasy setting adventure for 5th edition. When plagues and devastation begin to threaten the faith of the land, the bearers, folk capable of harnessing the power of certain seals, must set out to bring the land hope. The Lair of the Skatomancer looks to be a zine-style adventure featuring a skateboarding lich. Designed for any level, it deals with casting spells by doing tricks with a board of skatomancy. The Salt Reach Isles Zine number 2, Mythalian, looks to be an expansion for the Salt Reach Isles setting in zine format. It offers information on the ancestral home of the forest elves of that setting, along with the Oskanan elves and 2 subspecies, new subclasses for barbarian and fighter, new backgrounds, feats, spells, items, and creatures. Valhek's Guide to Treasure Hunting looks to be a 5th edition book full of character options, items, and monsters with a pixel art style. Tome of Arcane Secrets looks to be a compendium of 5th edition spells that are handcrafted and well balanced, with 50 spells to begin with, although expansions are possible. Wild Magic Expanded is a 5th edition expansion to Wild Magic with over 400 new effects, some themed subclasses for druids and bards, new creature stat blocks and feats. Figgleworth's Fabulous Bits and Bobs looks to detail a magic shop on a plane-hopping beetle for 5th edition, a zine-style offering. It'll uncover the collection of Bilious Figgleworth, a satyr from the Feywild. Dungeon Snap looks to be a collection of short adventures to play with 5th edition OSR, even its own system that's included. It looks like each volume will include 3 short adventures playable in 1 or 2 sessions. Shadow over Gloomshire looks to be a gothic horror adventure for Dragonbane. It features a remote village in a dark forest valley where the mansion on a hill, a tombstone shop, a temple, and a graveyard said to contain treasure. Crimson Pit to the Bone Magus looks to be an adventure for Shadowdark in a trifold format. It'll include an investigation site, some NPCs, boons, relics, hazards, etc. Salem number 1 and 2 looks to be a pair of zines for Dungeon Crawl Classics. One a funnel adventure with 3 new classes, and then the second a level 1 adventure with 5 new deities. Each one will explore and flesh out this Salem setting a little bit more. Ninja City, a Drug Demon Disco, looks to be a ninja-themed zine for Dungeon Crawl Classics, specifically themed around the 1980s pop take on ninjas rather than proper ninjas. Gary's Appendix, Issue 5, is to be another entry into the Old School Essentials compatible zine, also useful with other OSR systems. This one will focus on slime-based content, including an article on things found in gelatinous cubes, an bestiary for that sort of ooze. Fantastic Classes, Blobs vs. Blades, looks to be a collection of old school fantasy classes from Old School Essentials in a zine format. It will feature 6 classes, including the Adept, the Blob, Dancer, Fury, Ophidian, and Sword Mage. Grab and Go Factions looks to include 20 engaging, detailed factions for use with major fantasy RPGs, designed to be a collection of guilds, societies, cabals, etc. that you can plug into your game. Campaign Starters looks to be a collection of locations meant to start a campaign, and it will include 3 settlement locations with maps and so forth: the Village of Ironfrost, Krakenmouth, and Dragon Rift. Further Adventure Number 1 looks to be a system-neutral zine for tabletop role-playing games. It'll include adventures, puzzles, traps, locations, fiction, microgames, interviews, advice, etc. Midnight Glamours is another zine for tabletop role-playing, this one featuring a role-playing game about cursed people investigating supernatural mysteries and involving various entities. It'll use a unique system that uses playing cards and descriptive phrases and words. Million Colored Sun looks to be a zine-style rules, light, sword, and sorcery RPG designed for quick character creation. It'll feature such things as a tower in the midst of a desert, a city in the clouds, and so forth. It's meant to be flexible and cinematic. Ratcatcher, The Sewers of Marestal, is yet another zine quest offering, this one a dark fantasy RPG set in an undercity filled with monsters. It'll include a rulebook as well as a sample adventure. Parable Games has Zine Quest RPG Buffet for 2024. It'll be a collection of zines and small press games from the creators of Shiver, about 8 of them overall. Fantastic Odysseys looks to be a zine about fantastic adventures using a D100 system, specifically Open Quest. It'll include a variety of material, including new monsters, places, people, and religions. Tales from the Dungeon, Forgotten Deities, will be another issue in a zine series. It covers gods, goddesses, demigods, and their champions, as well as a random ritual generator and a cult generator. Swivers looks to be an urban heist-based role-playing game set in the streets of the Smoke. It'll feature a lightweight set of rules. Soar looks to be a biopunk and body horror battler RPG meant for solo play with grid combat, inspired by things like Shadow of the Colossus, Souls-likes, etc. Fast Action Hero looks to be a rules-like tabletop zine of action heroes using the Black Hack system. It'll include simple and dynamic rules, fast character creation, as well as cinematic styles. Wizard Van from Barrel Rider Games looks to be a role-playing game zine inspired by a sword in backpack. It'll have various rock themes and feature heroes powered by the music at the table. Behind the Magic looks to be a fantasy mockumentary-style game. You play as incompetent heroes on a quest to save the world, as well as the bard documenting their exploits. Blister Critters looks to be a tabletop RPG inspired by mutant cartoon animal-style Saturday morning cartoon shows. It's meant to be a surreal game. You play as a small animal who can wield bizarre mutations and physics-bending powers. Metal Gods of the Apocalypse will be a system-agnostic tabletop mini-campaign set about a wasteland with demon slayers and heavy metal stylings. Sidewinder Recoiled for Savage Worlds will be a 20th anniversary edition of a traditional Western tabletop RPG. You create gunslingers, rustlers, bounty hunters, etc., and test your mettle on the frontier. Legend in the Mist is to be a rustic fantasy tabletop RPG based on City of Mist. It'll let you play the part of unlikely villagers setting out into a quest into the greater world. To Insanity and Beyond is to be a set of sci-fi horror modules for the Mothership system. Containing 3 standalone Mothership modules, it'll create a loose trilogy. Out in the Black Hack is a sci-fi sitcom RPG inspired by sci-fi as well as comedy classics. It'll be focused on episodic play and be using a D20-based system. Squishy, The Mall at Midnight will be an expansion for the Squishy horror role-playing system inspired by urban exploration and paranormal gang warfare. It takes place in a dark, run-down shopping mall at the edge of a dying city. For the Lord, the role-playing game, will be a sci-fi swashbuckling game featuring holy knights and Christians in space. Finally, there's Bugs, a tabletop role-playing game set in a post-apocalyptic world. It has adapted insects amongst the ruins of past civilizations. With that, I will wrap things up here. This has been the RPG Crawler with my RPG News Roundup for February 10th, 2024. As always, links will be below. If you like what you've seen, remember to leave a like, comment, guide, feedback, and subscribe for more RPG content. Until next time, take care and goodbye.
And if you are still watching, I would like to take the opportunity to thank my supporters, the top tiers of which are listed on the screen, without whose support I would not have been able to offer the variety of content that I have on this channel throughout the years. If you're feeling particularly generous and would like to join them, you can support the channel. There are a variety of options to do so. I have a Patreon, a Subscribe Star, as well as channel memberships enabled. If you are not in a position to contribute, simply leaving a like, a comment, or sharing my videos are all wonderful ways to help the channel grow without spending a dime, and are all greatly appreciated.